In most cases, when a city has a love-hate relationship with its sports team, it mostly has to do with their current performance. But when it comes to the NHL's Arizona Coyotes, finding a suitable home has been harder than expected. In fact, the former Winnipeg Jets franchise has had to move 3 times since the late 1990s and just recently suspended operations altogether. But when it comes to explaining why, the answer isn't so simple. In this video, we'll talk about some of the many factors that have kept this desert hockey team looking for a patch of ice to call home. From mayoral objections to mismanagement and more, there are a lot of reasons why these Coyotes might soon go extinct, at least in the Southwest. If there's anything consistent about the Arizona Coyotes, it's that they have never really had a true home. Even when they began their journey back in 1971 as the Winnipeg Jets, there was more fluctuation than permanence in store for the team. For starters, the Jets played in the short-lived World Hockey Association. To this day, this period was the pinnacle of their success, as they won the Avco World Trophy 3 times and appeared in the finals 5 times in 7 seasons. The same can't be said for the team post-1979 when the WHA folded and they were absorbed into the NGL. In fact, their 1980-81 season saw the Jets post an agonizing 9 total wins. But while the team did get better, the finances did not. In the 1990s, player salaries increased significantly, putting a lot of pressure on the Canadian teams specifically. Winnipeg not only had one of the smallest markets, but its area lacked high-dollar amenities like luxury suites. Despite the team's popularity, the ongoing economic challenges led to its sale and subsequent move to Phoenix in 1996, where they were renamed the Phoenix Coyotes. It seemed, for a while, like home. However, time would prove the move to be anything but. Searching for a home. Despite moving to the Southwest, where ice hockey isn't exactly a major sport, the Coyotes received a rather warm welcome from the Arizona natives. This was especially true of northern transplants, who helped introduce their neighbors to the sport. Starting in 1996, the Coyotes demonstrated relative competitive prowess, posting 6 consecutive seasons with 500 or better records and making playoff appearances in all but one of those years. However, their main challenges were not on the ice, but rather with the venue. The team's initial arena, America West Arena, was originally built for the NBA's Phoenix Suns and was ill-suited for hockey. In fact, because it had been specifically built with basketball in mind, the facility struggled to accommodate a standard NHL-sized rink. Modifications were made, but the arena's upper deck still laughably obscured nearly a third of the rink in one of the goals. To avoid selling zero-visibility seats, the arena had to reduce its capacity from 18,000 to just over 16,000, making it the second smallest in the league. And just like that, profitability became a major issue yet again. So, when the team's performance began to ebb and flow, unfavorable lease terms at America West Arena only served to exacerbate the financial losses, which were once rumored to be as much as $40 million per year. In December 2003, the Coyotes moved to the newly built 19,000-seat Glendale Arena. Located about 12 miles northwest of downtown Phoenix, the arena was built east of Arizona Loop 101 and on the north side of West Maryland Avenue. Though this was a better situation, it didn't save the Coyotes from having to declare bankruptcy in 2009. Documentation revealed that the team had hemorrhaged over $70 million in the lead-up to the bankruptcy and was on track to lose an additional $45 million that season. Fortunately, the Glendale City Council approved a 15-year lease agreement on July 2, 2013. The Phoenix Coyotes became the Arizona Coyotes, and that's when the real trouble started. Problems in Glendale. The team's relationship with the city of Glendale was fraught with financial and contractual disputes. Though the Coyotes would end up spending 13 years playing at the facility, the ending of the partnership would be as bitter as any divorce. After more than a decade of back and forth, Glendale voided the Coyotes' long-term lease in 2015. At the time, the city stated the decision stemmed from an alleged conflict of interest involving a city attorney who later worked for the Coyotes. As their time in Glendale started to end, the Coyotes began frantically exploring other options. In 2016, they entered a failed partnership with Arizona State University to build a new arena in Tempe, which fell through when ASU withdrew, citing unforeseen complications. After that, they tried negotiating with the city itself, but the chosen site, an old solid waste compost yard, proved unsuitable for environmental remediation. In the midst of all this, the Coyotes got themselves another new owner. This time, it was business wonderkin and Cuban-American investor Alex Morello. At first, it seemed most Coyote fans were relatively optimistic about the new developments. After all, Alex Morello seemed to have a bit of a Midas touch when it comes to development. After becoming a millionaire in his 20s, Morello had purchased 5 radio stations, 2 television stations, multiple casinos, and even a ready-to-eat sushi company. Little did they know that this golden boy would actually be the one to put the final nail in the Coyotes' coffin. Morello became majority owner in 2019 alongside hedge fund manager Andrew Barroway. In fact, it's still believed that Morello was the first Latino majority owner in the NHL. Unfortunately, he would not go down in history as a very good one. According to reports, Morello would often put the Coyotes in cheap hotels that violated their collective bargaining agreement and either not pay or only pay a fraction of what was owed to hotels and other local businesses. To a billionaire like Morello, not paying likely made sense. The team was hemorrhaging money, and not paying bills is a luxury that only the rich seem to be able to afford. However, the ongoing financial instability kept on causing problems. In December 2021, they were threatened with eviction from the Glendale complex, now called Gila River Arena, over a whopping $1.3 million in unpaid taxes. It seemed that things were getting worse by the month, and the city of Glendale definitely had the upper hand. In fact, city officials were basically wringing their hands about the upcoming ejection of the Coyotes, publishing information about how alternative uses for the arena, like concerts and other live events, would be more profitable than hosting NHL games. Finally, in 2021, the expected other shoe dropped. The city decided not to renew the Coyotes' short-term lease, effectively ending their tenure in the arena after the 2021-22 season. In a final attempt to secure a home, the Coyotes entered into a 3-year agreement to play at Arizona State University's new 5,000-seat Mullet Arena, starting with the 2022-23 season. Having a pro NHL team in an arena that small was essentially an insult, but by this point, the Coyotes were desperate. But then, so were the owners. 2023 was the same year that Morello became the primary owner when Andrew Barroway was indefinitely banned from the league after being arrested for the alleged strangulation of his wife. However, situations didn't improve, and like so many other rich businessmen, Morello soon proved that he, too, was not exactly a master of the art of the deal. Objections to new stadium. Despite the team's relative popularity, the Arizona Coyotes' quest for a new stadium faced significant public and political resistance. Things really came to a head in May of 2023 when Tempe residents rejected a proposal for a $2.1 billion arena despite the majority of the funding being privately sourced. This setback left the Coyotes to play yet another season at Mullet Arena, which still boasted a capacity 3 to 4 times smaller than your average pro hockey arena. As the 2023-2024 season wore on, the Coyotes owners continued looking for new sites, eventually landing in a desert area in Phoenix, where they would finally be able to build an arena to call their own. That was until Scottsdale Mayor David Ortega got involved. In January 2024, Ortega very publicly voiced his opposition to a proposed arena near the Scottsdale border, citing concerns about infrastructure demands, market demand, and potential negative impacts on the community. Playing into concerns shared by many residents, Ortega reminded everyone that the Colorado River system, which supplies 36% of Arizona's total water use, has experienced extensive drought conditions for the past 19 years. The more he discussed the lack of essential utilities, the more people in the area seemed to agree with him. Before long, the mayor's claims that there was simply no demand or need for a hockey arena proved true. Despite the Coyotes' efforts to reassure the public and officials of the benefits, the opposition proved insurmountable. By April 2024, the Coyotes owners were seeking the NHL's approval to relocate. Soon after, the constantly moving franchise was sold to the owner of the NBA's Utah Jazz for $1.2 billion. For his part, Morello was at least apologetic. However, in a truly bizarre twist, the now detested billionaire continued to assert that he was still the true owner of the team. In a way, he's not wrong. However, with no stadium and no players, all he really owns is the name of a very troubled franchise. The new Utah-based team will have to go under a different banner, though only time will tell just what that will be. The Coyotes' last game at Mullett Arena was a poignant farewell, with players and fans sharing a prolonged goodbye on the ice. The following day, the NHL officially approved the sale and relocation, and the team was deactivated, setting the stage for a new beginning in Utah under a different banner. As of April 2024, the team, formerly known as the Arizona Coyotes, will be playing at the Delta Center, a 16,200-seat arena in Salt Lake City. Meanwhile, the Coyotes brand remains dormant, but with the possibility of reactivation if a new arena can be secured within 5 years. Until then, the legacy will have to continue in a new city and under a new roof. Thanks for tuning in to Futurescapes. Make sure to like and subscribe.